Oh man, this is about to be my most controversial video I've made in my entire life, probably. There's been a lot of hype surrounding EA Sports College Football 2025 for years at this point, and myself included was extremely pumped for this series to finally return. I made a video last week about my first impressions for this game, and if you haven't seen it already, feel free to click up here in one of these corners. Trying to think here, this one I believe will be the corner that it pops up in. But that video wasn't received very well by the people that watched it mostly. Some of you agreed, most of you didn't, as I expected, because God forbid if you criticize anything nowadays. And to be quite honest, I don't really care if I get bashed for that, because I'm capable of criticizing a game, and if it's overhyped, it's overhyped. My job on this channel and in my life period is to be myself and give it to people straight, whether they want to hear it or not. I think we should all practice being real with each other and telling the truth, and my truthful opinion was that. So that is what it is. So I wanted to make that video straight from the heart and warn people that this game is not legendary like the hype makes you believe, and I also wanted it to be. But people also need to understand that despite it being a negative-centered video I made last week, I don't think the game is bad either, as we're going to figure out today. College Football 25 is simply just disappointing. There is a big difference between disappointing and terrible. I so badly wanted this game to be a 10 out of 10 like probably most of you, or even like a 9 out of 10 football game. I've been waiting 2 decades almost for a nearly perfect football game or a solid football game. And NCAA 14 and 13 were even pretty solid as well. And Madden 05, ESPN, NFL 2K5 were mostly what I'm referring to, the 2 decades ago, that were incredible football games. The build-up from EA once again oversold this to be a lot more than it was. And like all of you not all of you, I mean a lot of people out there that I'm talking to or seeing that are being fooled still by the hype. I was also fooled, but it's hard to permanently fool me once I see your bluff. And after hours and days that I spent, I basically saw a bunch of smoke being puffed up all of the consumers' asses per usual for EA. So why do I feel that way? Well, stay tuned and I will explain why College Football 25 is decent, but not going to be remembered amongst the greats, unfortunately. Thank you, anyone watching this. You are highly appreciated for being here. If you could drop a like on the video and make sure you come join the Snake Pit by hitting that subscribe button, much appreciated. Now back to the video. Strap yourselves in. This is probably going to be a long ride. I expect this video to be almost an hour because I really care about this game. If it's under that, I mean, good, I guess. I don't want to make overly long games, or videos, not games. Let's begin with gameplay and presentation. I'm going to structure this the same way I did my NCAA 14 video I made a couple weeks ago. Also, go check that out if you haven't already. I'm probably going to put it up here in this corner. I got it right this time. So you boot up the game, and already the first thing that you see is disappointing, but not bad. And it's the definition of that here. The team intros were presented to you as this revolutionary, game-changing thing that's going to immerse you so hard into each school. So I was under the impression to believe that we were going to get these epic team runouts where there's no announcers, the crowd's chanting like crazy for their home team to come out and run on the field. The hype really builds up, and the PA announcer epically announces them onto the field, and you're ready to drive heads through walls when you step on that football field. But instead, you get the announcer quickly talking over the team. Quickly is the key word here, as EA likes to do. Rush. They quickly run out of the tunnel, and then there's no college game day type of kickoff show like I swear they said there was going to be, or they at least made you really truly believe there was going to be something like that. It's just boom, 30 seconds, you're at kickoff. Real fun, real immersive, let me tell you. If you're one of these Gen Z kids that doesn't want any presentation, then go take all of your parents' money and go play stupid Ultimate Team, and don't play sports games, please, because you're ruining them. When I play a football game, I expect better, and we have the right to expect better. We are paying this super wealthy company money for underwhelming presentation and everything else that I will touch on shortly. It's just sad and unacceptable. But once again, like I said, it's not exactly bad. It's just disappointing. Doesn't even live up to NCAA 14's game intros, in my honest, humble opinion.
A highly anticipated top 5 matchup. We've got time to give you a little peek inside the stadium as both teams wrap up their pregame preparations. we'll be looking for kickoff. That's going to do it here in the studio, but don't worry, we'll be keeping your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on everywhere else across the country. But right now, it's time for kickoff, and ESPN's college football, Brad Nessler and Kirk Herbstreit are on the call.
Baton Rouge and Tiger Stadium, the site for this college football battle. Now this one should be exciting. Hi everybody, Brad Nessler with Kirk Herbstreit and Aaron Andrews. We've got more NCAA Football 13 for you. Tonight's primetime matchup is brought to you by Spark, who reminds you that what you can measure, you can improve. And it's a matchup between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the LSU Tigers. The fans and alumni look forward to this game all year long. The winner of this SEC rivalry will have some pretty big bragging rights right here in the South. Kickoff's just ahead, but first, let's head to midfield for the coin toss. It's brought to you by Spark, who reminds you that what you can measure, you can improve.
Welcome to LSU's Tiger Stadium after dark, an environment unlike any other in sports. Very intimidating for visitors. As they say, this is where visitors' dreams come to die. And a rivalry like this is what makes college football great. Yeah, the tradition and the history, but right here, right now, there's great intensity. This is why these guys came to these schools to play in games like this. As we'll see the number 6 team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide, taking on the 13th ranked team in the land, the LSU Tigers. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Chris Fowler, joined here in the booth by Kirk Herbstreit.
Shifting to a mostly positive note, though, it is amazing to have multiple commentary teams, and finally EA did that here. On top of that, they are actually legit college announcers that are pretty popular amongst the college community. It adds a very nice element and a vibe to get you in that college football moment. Even though sometimes the excitement in their voices could use a little bit of work on some big plays and big moments in games. Another very positive note with the presentation is also the scoreboard itself. It's not ESPN, which is another one of those small, tiny disappointments that they flick at you here. But it honestly doesn't matter for me. The scoreboard here is very clean. It shows the school names completely with a cool background behind the logo and displaying the ranking, which I was sadly scared shitless about that they were going to leave out because of, EA. But they did not here. They actually put it there. So the ranking is there, and that's awesome. And also, along with presentation, see, I have positives about this game, guys. Like I said, just disappointing some things, but not exactly bad. But this is not disappointing at all. The atmosphere itself is perfect. Seriously, it's just superb. Crowd itself will immerse you 100% of the time. They are actually loud and make you feel like you're playing a game on the road or help you feel very comfortable when you are the team at home. Crowds for me are a very vital point of college sports, so it's great that they absolutely nailed it here. You even get a ton of team-specific things like Penn State chants, the marching bands playing all the fight songs you could ever ask for each individual school, or those annoying Mississippi State cowbells that were driving me nuts when I went into that stadium.
Looking to throw for it. Caught behind the line. It's Whitaker. He's really close to that first down marker, but they stop him just a bit short.
Hey, really nice job on defense, too, understanding the situation. It's third down.
I even enjoy when you're at a super tough place to play and legit, you can't even call an audible sometimes because your team can't hear you. Like, yes, they play that gimmick perfectly where they literally can't hear you and you won't be able to change anything. Or you're trying to, like, when you're trying to have your running back block and you can't get it to work in time. All of this while the play clock is about to expire, leaving you scrambling to snap the ball. And sometimes you legit have to press the button so many times to try to snap the ball, and it will cause your center to, like, freak out or your line to freak out, and they'll all jump, like, and it'll be a false start, and it's crazy. I love it. Atmosphere on the field is probably the only area of this entire game that gets a 10 out of 10 for me. So, I mean, I don't usually rank individual things, but atmosphere, love it. 10 out of 10. Ugh, but let's shift over to gameplay where I disagree with most people, and this is where the controversy is probably gonna kick in. And let's just get it out of the way because I said it in my first impressions, and almost 100 hours later of playing this, I'm gonna say it again. At its core, this is Madden. If you know what you're talking about and you're willing to be open about things and not be biased and get buy into the hype, it's Madden. It is. You can just see it everywhere. What the hell? Yes, the movements here are a lot smoother and more responsive, but that doesn't make this a great fundamental football game that isn't similar to Madden in many areas. In fact, I don't think there's much fundamental football here at all, which is a major issue that I have with this game. Everyone's main argument back at me about not loving the gameplay is the fact that it's fun.
Oh, wait, no, hold up, stop, wait.
The fact that it's fun. The fact that it's fun.
And I don't deny that. I mean, it is a decent bit of the time. There's a ton of fun here to be had while you're running around like an invincible person that can't be tackled. But that's also where I'm a realist here, and I love the game of football, and that's not how football works most of the time. And I'm sick of being bashed because I want these sports games to simulate the sport, you know, that they're presenting to you, and people are all like, well, it's a game. What do you expect? Well, I expect it to represent best as possible, like an attempt at least at representing the sport that it's like presenting to you, please. It's not difficult. Like seriously, we have Madden's always been on the arcadey side of things, but like they legit tried to present football to you in the 2000s in like a decent way to where it felt like you were playing football and what you did mattered as far as physics, calling plays, all that stuff just mattered. But yeah, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is the gameplay legit feels like you're in an arcade game in an amusement park where it's just like, it's fun and stuff, but it's more on like the funny, like go over the top, like atmosphere kind of thing. Well, not to say atmosphere because you know what I'm talking about with atmosphere, crowd and stuff like that, but like it gives you that vibe. Like seriously, you or the computer will legit break 5+ tackles almost every single play, and I just don't find that to be fun after a game or two. Yes, if you want to get off to that stuff, Mr. Gen Z people out there, that's cool and everything. But like I said, after a couple games, I'm like, all right, can I play some football now? And I get it. It's college. But trust me, I tested it for a week. And it doesn't make a difference what team you play as. It happens with everybody. And they will break 1,000,000 tackles no matter what you do. It's actually very infuriating, and I get pissed about talking about it because I really just wanted to play a little bit of defense with somebody. And I mean, we're like almost 10 days in now since I got the early access as of recording this, and I finally got some sliders that slightly work for me, but I'm sick of doing that as well. I shouldn't have to do sliders in order to fix your football game to make it decent. I actually got it to the point where I could play a little bit of defense because I turned the tackling way up, which is crazy to me. Because usually in EA games, I do the complete opposite and I turn the tackling way down because there's no broken tackles. There's just never a good like in-between balance when it comes to EA football games. And on top of not making the tackles, by the way, that's if they even take the proper angle to tackle the ball carrier, which is a 50-50 coin flip most of the time, which is where this comes back to. This is Madden. They have the same brain dead Madden logic that takes the worst football tackle angles known to mankind, and that's where it's just not bad college football player defenders. It's just badly programmed AI. And on top of that, this is something that I've actually seen people agree with me, and they just act like it's not a big deal because the rest of the game is fun, but it's a problem. The coverages are pathetic, mostly zone coverages. Originally, I was like, okay, these are bad, need some work, but they're not too ridiculous. And then I started looking at it deeper because that's what I do here, aka deep dive. And they do the same old Madden BS where they warp into each other constantly, or they don't cover much at all, or just act like they've never seen a motion or something. And you could tell that they like want to really hard. Like it's like they're like trying internally. They're like, oh, I know I should follow this guy in motion, but I just can't bring myself to do it. And it just leads to these open receivers. Like I said, the tackling's an issue, but on top of that, as well as playing defense, there's just open receivers constantly. And I couldn't take it anymore when I'm trying everything, every single game in my power to cover everybody. But no matter what, there's a wide open guy there like 90% of the time because my defender just decides to not cover them, or I did a zone coverage because God forbid if you do zone coverages in a football game, because that's not part of people's playbooks, I guess. But also don't worry though, when the CPU team is on defense, they cover nearly perfect 90% of the time. And no matter what team you play, like I said, it just doesn't matter. You could just see the difference if you sit there and open your mind and look at it and compare it, and you'll just see that the computers, whenever like the computer team, not your computer teammates, when you're playing against the computer, their defense, they're all over you. All their receivers, they're covered in shit. But your AI teammates just stand there and do nothing a lot of the time, and it sucks. And on top of that, that's even if you have a second to throw the ball anyways, despite no wonder they could cover so well, because you barely get 2 seconds to throw the ball most of the time as well.
Show me that again. Show me that again.
Okay, one more time.
And this is another thing that I'm mind blown by that I'm saying, because usually in Madden I put the pass blocking slider at 10 because you usually have all day to throw, and I hate that because I love realistic football. I want you to only have like a few seconds to throw, but this game is out of hand with it. You'll legit get rushed in the first second of almost every single play, even if you're playing some bullshit school that's 70 overall and you're Georgia, Ohio State, one of the top lines in the country, whatever school has one of the best lines in the country. I tested all of them, and it's the same story again reversed. You want to pass rush them? Well, good luck getting 1 sack a game. You might get 1. Getting to 2 is like, I mean, I was going to say you better blitz 8 a freaking play, but it doesn't even matter. I've done that. I tried it and tested it because I actually am a blitzer in general, and I think that's probably why I was getting eaten up sometimes. But like, why is blitzing not something that goes into your football game? I just don't understand. I will legit run 7 or 8 guys at these people, and they'll still have 4 or 5 seconds to throw the ball. Like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Like, don't sit there and yell at me in the comment. I mean, you can because you're entitled to your opinion, but like, can you like think about what you're saying before you come at me? Blitzing does not work that way, and especially when it's the opposite way. Whenever they're coming at me, and I legit have 1 second to throw when they have 3 or 4 people coming at me. Like, come on, man. Which also ties into this as well. I feel like I've said ties in like 8 times, but they all tie into each other. The QBs have the same problem as Madden. They will throw 80 to 90% completion percentage, and it's not just the CPUs. They don't sit there and go, "You're stuck in the game, learn how to play, blah, blah, blah," because it's also my quarterback, and actually I have more of an issue with mine than theirs. I will usually be up towards 90, and they'll be around 80, 85%. Nobody does that. Go watch some football. Nobody does that. Like, seriously, have the people that like hardcore defending this game, or even EA themselves, ever watched some college football? Other than the elite quarterbacks at the very top, I would say most quarterbacks sit there and spray the ball all over the place. But here, almost every quarterback I would say every quarterback in the country, based on this game's logic, throws like prime Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees just right on the money all the time, no matter where they throw this football. And as a massive Ohio State fan, I do like LSU too, just for football. I love the LSU-Bama rivalry, just so you know. But I like Oregon too. I like a few colleges, all right? But Ohio State is my number one by far. And as a massive Ohio State fan, go learn something about college football and watch Penn State's quarterback, Drew Aller, against our defense last year and see if he completed 90% of his passes like it was nothing. Because guess what? Spoiler alert, he doesn't get anywhere close to that. And I don't remember if that game was in Penn State or not off the top of my head, but it doesn't even matter where it was. The dude literally couldn't complete a pass because college football quarterbacks don't work that way. And I'm sorry, you can hate me all you want for this video, but I'm a passionate football guy. I've loved it since I was almost a toddler, and I want better from this gameplay. And it's just at this point where EA is just the top money company in the world as far as gaming goes, and they put like little to no effort into things, and I'm sick of it. I'm over it. Like, I thought this game was actually legit going to be a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Like, the way they hyped it up, and I gave it like an open chance and stuff, and like day one, and it just kept dropping on its face day after day, and it sucks. And what other small things here? Reviews, they're also extremely laughable. I can't believe they actually got worse than Madden. Not to keep comparing it, but there's no other football game to compare it to that's like modernized. Like, I could compare it to NFL 2K5, but trust me, you don't want me to do that because that game is nearly perfect. I don't want to put that in the same realm as this game because that's just going to make this game go down, down, down. So honestly, comparing it to Madden is helping you guys defend this game, but except for these, because like, how can the reviews get worse? They don't even show the replays to you, and legit, like in 3 seconds, you hit the challenge button, and 3 seconds later, the announcer tells you the result, and it's time to move on like nothing even happened. Like, at least the other game, they give you like, in Madden, they give you like 10 to 20 seconds, and they reveal it right before, like, they announce it on the field, but it's after you actually get to see the replays. But here, they don't even show you the replays. Like, what? So what do I like about the gameplay? Well, there's not too much if you can't tell, but there is some stuff. Playbooks, for instance, are insanely fun to mess around with. Many unique types of like plays hidden in each school's playbook specifically. Like Florida International having these insane wide formations that they use in real life. They are awesome to see in the game and very difficult to use. Wake Forest, they have this slow mesh thing, I think they call it, where you get a ton of time to read the RPOs instead of like the normal time. So they hold on to the ball an extra second or two, and it's cool because it gives you some time to read, and that's what they do. Or Oregon having their reverse flea flicker. Just look at it. Teams all have their specific playing styles to go along with these playbooks, which is nice. Play Army or Navy and expect triple option mayhem or a ton of run plays in general. Play against Oregon and expect a ton of motions or the ball flying all over the place with speed. Play Michigan, yuck, and expect old school ground and pound nonstop down your throat. And another thing I also love is actually, this is like not even liking, I love it, is the new kicking meter. They've done something new and innovative, and I thought it was great. I've been waiting for a new kicking meter for a while now, and it's nice to see. We actually have a challenging kick meter for the most part, I would say. Couldn't be a better game for it as well, because college kickers are obviously not very great compared to the NFL on a consistent level. Obviously, the lower tier people in the NFL can kind of suck too, and I hope this kicking meter is in Madden. For this, you have to hold down the button to power the kick, and it will definitely take you a second to get used to, as it took me the whole first day probably playing this to get used to it, and I kept just doing these little pooch kicks that went nowhere, and I was like, I didn't even know you had to hold it in. I was like, it's just college kickers. I love this. They suck. But no, it was just, I was doing it wrong. And it'll lead to inaccurate kicks, though, if you do mess it up. And if you overdo it, like if you hit it like at the very top, it will make the kick inaccurate. And then if you do it like a little too much, it will reset at the bottom, which sucks because you'll be back to that no power. So if you want to get full power, you take some risks. Plus, on long field goals, this thing goes absolutely insane on you. Other than kicking, though, I probably like that the hurry up is back, but I mean, is that really something to praise at this point? Should have never been taken away. And that's probably about it. Most of my enjoyment with this section of the video was from the atmosphere and the presentation. Despite it being slightly disappointing, it was still decent. And yeah, gameplay wise, I did not enjoy it. Let's move over to Dynasty. Okay, this was the mode that I really didn't get to deep dive in that first impressions video I did. I wanted to save it for this one, and here comes yet another disappointment, unfortunately. Once again, not bad, but not great like it used to be. I would even say probably like good? I don't know. Average or good. I'm not sure where to put this. You jump into Dynasty, and the customization is good from the start here. Had some hope already. Customizing conferences and the rules and stuff are all still there, which I give credit to EA for, because they have a tendency to take stuff out that doesn't need to be taken out as far as customization goes, as you'll see later on here soon. Also, if you choose to do online Dynasty, you can import the incredible team builder. And yes, Create a Team is actually back in football games once again, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't absolutely love it being back. I'm someone that loves designing and creating things or trying to recreate real things to represent the real thing. North Florida, Youngstown State here, I actually created, and more. Overall, the site was solid enough, and as far as jerseys and styles go, there needs to be a little bit more options. Hopefully they add more down the line. I know it just dropped when I was messing around with it, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here. Hopefully in the long run they give you a little bit more creativity as far as options go. Stadium Creator is good for the most part. It's what you'd expect it to be. And overall, I love Create a Team just being back at football games. It's been, what, since Madden like 12? And I guess NCAA 13 and 14. So yeah, like a decade or so since we've seen Create a Team, and I was honestly shocked that this is also going to be in Madden. Can you believe that? Back to Dynasty itself though, select your coach, pick his background or his skill tree that you want to begin with. Want to be like a recruiter or a team management kind of person, choose your path. And here comes the first EA negative. And I know I say that a lot, but I mean, I don't know another way to describe it other than EA. Like 2K wouldn't do this stuff. And I don't even think 2K is like top this grand like pedestal like company. I don't know, whatever I'm trying to say. Everyone treats them like they're like the top of the food chain, and I think they have plenty of issues too, but There's little things like this that, as far as like creativity and stuff and deepness to their modes, that 2K just doesn't do. They fooled me at first thinking that you have over 500 faces for your coach in this game, but then you realize that they are the same faces recycled over and over and over again with different hairstyles, which leads to half of them looking like something from another planet, and they just become wasted slots. Not a major thing, but one of those EA mind tricks that they pull to make you believe that there's a lot more there than there actually is. Like, nobody looks like this. And speaking of Jedi mind tricks, they also do it with recruiting. The biggest charade of them all they have going into college football 2025. Let's start by saying you can't create a recruit, and I don't know why people like to defend EA about this kind of stuff, but it's completely unnecessary to take a simple thing like this out of the game, and I just don't get how you can back them for this. And I've actually seen a lot of people that support this game also like be hard on this feature being ripped away as well, as it should be. As I always like to say, EA Sports, it's not in the game. So, no create a recruit. Well, the actual recruiting has to be great, right? They made it this big thing. They hyped it up so much and it looks so promising. No, not at all. Recruiting, after many, many seasons of testing, and I mean many, many seasons because Dynasty is the mode that I love to death, is absolutely pathetic. And I've said it time after time in this, but this is another thing that people want to bash me over, but maybe you should take the hours that I put into it and you would understand that it's bad. I literally got bashed because I set myself up apparently for failure by recruiting these top people that we're going to talk about here. I said it in my other video last week for the first impressions. I'll say it again here. Yes, your first season when you go in and have no clue what you're doing, it is overwhelming and makes you believe this shit is way deeper than it is. Hence why I call it an EA charade, because once you learn it, it's an absolute joke compared to the legendary NCAA 13 recruiting. You make your recruiting board with guys you want to come to your school, the standard stuff, nothing bad yet, but then the options you get to talk to them are where the BS really just settles in. It all looks like it's as cool as NCAA 13 on the outside, but all it is the point system from 14, in my opinion, that I don't like a bit. It just has a different coat of paint on it, which makes it look super in-depth, and it's really not. And sorry if I ruin recruiting for you. You might want to fast forward a few minutes in this video if you don't want it to be spoiled, if you didn't figure it out yet. But this is a deep dive review, and I have to share my experience in depth. That's what I do here. Let me show you how broken this is. All you do is you get 15 to 20 guys at the start of the season. First few options there, like social media, DM them, contact friends. Do that for the first week or so. And then as soon as you go all in by sending the house, you'll get 90, I'd probably say 80% of the people that you have ready to visit. And after they visit, you will land almost every single one of them. Yes, you'll strike out on a couple, but I'm talking like legit. You could go for anybody. Like that's like, I'm not even talking about people that are like top interest in you. That's the kicker here. You can go for anybody. And I know you're going to type in the comments, well, yeah, that's really easy whenever you're Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, Clemson, all these top schools recruiting these kids. But don't worry, I got you covered on that one too, because this is my biggest negative in this entire video that ruined this game for me and why I made my angry video last time. And it got even worse since then. For almost a decade, I've been dreaming about rebuilding a super low tier school and working them through the rankings and to land a better job and continue and carry on from there. But little did I know when I joined Kennesaw State, and to my knowledge, they haven't even played a D1 game yet. The newest team in the country and one of the worst rated teams in the land. And I didn't know that I'd be landing 5-star recruits in year 3 with fucking Kennesaw State. Like, let that sink into you. Like, Kennesaw State, they're brand new to D1. Like I said, as far as I know, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. In year 3, I'm landing a 5-star recruit. And I'm sorry for the language and blah, 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 but it just gets worse from there. The year after, so year 4, I landed 3 5-star recruits and was just casually landing 3 and 4s all day. And by like year 6 or so, I had a full team of 4s, 3s, and 5s. It should not go that way at all. And look at this comment right here. I don't know where I'm going to put it on the screen, but I literally got bashed. This is what I'm talking about with people defending this game. Like, can you at least have some like common sense whenever you're going to argue with me about this? They had the nerve to say that I set myself up for this failure by, you know, exposing the game's broken features because I deep dive review games and that's what I'm supposed to do. If something's broken, it's broken. Not my fault. Don't blame me as the consumer. And this is where these people just come off as brainwashed to me. Like, it's okay to admit that the game is flawed so they can make it better. Like, this is why I don't even want this game to die at all. I want EA to, like, they're not going to watch this, but they should. And I'll actually critique them and they could fix it next year. And then next year I'll go and give that game an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, hopefully. But everyone wants to defend this and blame me because it's my fault, I guess, that I'm recruiting 5-star recruits. I realized that I actually, like, I wanted to put it to the test. I'm like, okay, let me see what actually happens here if I go for this 5-star recruit. Like, I should get dumped on like the old games, right? And not only did I get him, I think it was my first one that's happened. I can't remember, so I could be wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure I like blew them out of the water and got him with ease. If not, I know there was other 5-star recruits along this journey that I definitely got without an issue at all because they don't even get pursued for some reason because I guess nobody wants these top players. And I also forgot to say that year 4, this might be year 5, there was back-to-back years I got 3 5-star recruits. They were 1, 2, and 3 in the country overall, like literally the top 3 recruits in all of high school. I landed them all at Kennesaw State. Like, I want to see somebody try to tell me that that's okay. And how do you do that exactly? Well, literally do what I just said a little bit ago. And like I said, as soon as you send the house, have them visit, they'll be all over your school. Nobody else will even pursue you half the time. And there you go. You got them. Bing, boom, bang. It's over. And another thing that really irked me big time is where's the recruiting battles from NCAA 13 that they made you believe was here? There's no grade comparisons directly with another school week by week while you both fight it out while this kid's picking where he wants to go during the recruiting process. The grades are there, but they're only half as important as 13. They do matter a little bit, at least like they come into play here a little bit, but I want that like direct battling with another school like 13 had. Only thing they're good for is the pitches, and that's even stupid for me. I can actually show you in this video what I mean, unlike the first impressions video. I briefly touched on it. No matter what, you will have a combo of all 3 of these topics he's interested in, like no matter what they are. And yes, this is where the grades matter a little bit because you might suck at one of these things, but I think it's stupid that they have a combo. Like, why even give you 3 options if you're going to have 3 check marks in there no matter what you do? And like I said, the grades slightly matter, but I'm freaking Kennesaw State over here landing 5-star recruits with ease, so it can't cripple you that much because my grades weren't very high. I'm telling you right now, well, the Kennesaw State isn't in there, but go take one of the bottom teams in the country in year 4. Not even 3, year 4, I'll give you an extra year. In year 4, go try to land 1 5-star recruit with one of those low-tier colleges and just wait until you get laughed out of the building when you don't even come close to touching them. So what else is an issue here? Because there's not a lot of positive in this mode either. I don't even know if I would say this mode's good anymore. I did at the beginning, but as I'm talking here, is it? Like, I feel like it's average at best. So customization, your schedule, it's also there, but it's also stripped down. It's all the same except you can't schedule neutral games? What? Like, what? A key feature for NCAA 14 and now the first game to follow that one up, you can't do it anymore? And don't worry, they're there. EA, I know it's in the game, is it? They're still there, but they predetermine when you get them scheduled and you can't change to a different opponent or anything about it. You just get sucked into it and it's there. And if you do change it, it will become a road or a home game. So you can't change it, but you can't change the neutral game at all. Like, you can't have a customized neutral game is what I'm trying to say. I got accused of nitpicking talking about that originally, and when I've commented it on other videos and stuff just to talk to people, like nitpicking. Come on, man. It's a simple thing. And yes, I mean, it is a small little nitpick, but it matters. Like, why can't I schedule a neutral game in 2024? It's just stupid. It's just hysterical to me that people try to defend this lazy, easy shit that shouldn't be pulled out of the game. Just like the next thing you can't do anymore either, which is customizing most of your players. And I completely understand not changing any of the real life kids stuff, but seriously, no creative player. Like what the actual hell, EA? Why do this crap? I don't get it. It feels like Madden 13 over again. The presentation and the gameplay were fun in Madden 13, but then they strip away all the fun from everything else before you jump into the game. You can't even create yourself and put yourself in the franchise as a player, which is BS and just completely unacceptable. And even like the non-real players, when you don't have like real people involved, you can't even edit their overalls or jersey numbers. Like, jersey numbers? Come on. Like, I mean, I was going to say I get the overalls, like, if you don't want us to touch it, but I don't. Like, let me do whatever I want. Who cares? And jersey numbers, though, like, come on, dude. An example of why you need to edit players, you might ask. Situations like this, when I changed a guy's position and he completely skyrocketed in overall, not just went up, he literally shot himself to the moon and never looked back from switching positions. So, like, not even his primary position, and he skyrocketed almost 20 overall. And then whenever I moved on to Missouri to my next job after Kennesaw State, I went back to play Kennesaw State because I like to do that, play my former team and blah, blah, blah. Only to see my former offensive lineman that I switched to a tight end and didn't even notice his size at the time. And this man's 300 pounds running up and down the field as a tight end like it's no big deal, like a thin wide receiver out there ready to catch and sprint up this field. It's just insane to me that they actually let you do that, and he went up in overall from switching. Like, 300-pound tight end, I mean, that's big and everything for run blocking, but this dude's out here sprinting? I don't think so. This is a topic I know most of the community agrees with me as well. Creation and customization with the players is dumb, so why would I sit here and not criticize them for being lazy and ripping out fun elements that have always been there? Just like some of the tabs in Dynasty too as well. Like, where's my championship outlook page that I'm obsessed with personally? And as you expected, you can't watch or play the teams that you don't control. I already knew that was coming because that's what they do in these newer football games. You could in the older ones. Again, stop me if you heard me say that before. You just made the national title and want to watch the other semi-game to see who you play? Well, screw you. You can't do that. You're not allowed to immerse yourself and have fun in your own freaking dynasty. I hate it all in Madden, and I hate it again here. Who gives a shit if I want to watch another team or even play another game in my dynasty? Who cares? Like, if there's a big primetime game and I want to play it, why not? And yet another thing that they shockingly ruined, because it's still there, and I knew it was there. They said it was there, but I didn't realize that it was going to suck more, even though I should have. Yes, they still have scoring updates in the game, but you get half credit here because they only show it on the bottom line. Seriously, you can't even give us the old transition screen to actually show the game pop up and interrupt your game and let the studio announcer talk about it and show you other games around the country. It's just, once again, lazy. And last thing is, where is my importing draft classes for Madden? You're going to sit there and sell them together like they're this package deal when you buy them both because they know people don't want to buy Madden, so they make you do it. And I can't even import the draft classes over, and you're not going to fool me again, Matt and EA. I always call them Madden. You're not going to fool me whenever you add this as a new feature next year. It's not going to be new. It's taken from old stuff. You kept it out here on purpose because I already know they're going to do it next year or the year after that. They're going to, again, add it at some point and act like it's this big deal. Other than that, I really have nothing to, like, directly praise about Dynasty, sadly, because everything else is pretty much the same, which is good in its own right. Everything else that's here is the same, so that's what makes this still an average thing. But that's just what they do here. They take simple things out and they don't add anything new. So it's not my fault, once again, that there's nothing new and innovative to talk about here.
Tell somebody who gives a shit.
Well, I must say this was very unexpected. Based on everything else I touched on in this game so far, I didn't expect Road to Glory to impact things the way it does here. I can't believe I'm about to even say this. I'm 50-50 about some things in this mode, but overall, I actually enjoyed myself a decent bit here. Sadly, there's still some flaws here, but that we'll touch on in a second. It keeps this mode from being great, but overall, I still think it's solid enough. And let's begin with the biggest flaw of them all. I think everyone will agree not having high school here is going to be massively missed, and it's also a massive L. Once again, I've chatted with people that defend the game hard, and they hate the fact, this is their number one negative about the game, that high school is absent here. Despite high school being too easy, in my opinion, in the older games, it still gives you something to play for and fight for as you earn your scholarships from other colleges as you're playing along. It's also something that football players do in their career no matter how great they are, so why shouldn't we be able to play through high school ourselves? It just makes no sense. Since the day they've announced it being taken away, I've been bitter, and I still am now, so instead of that, you go and pick from being a 2-star recruit, 3-star recruit, 4-star recruit, 5-star recruit. You don't have to earn anything about it, you just go on and pick it. But do not, I repeat, do not pick a 2-star recruit, even if you enjoy a grind like I do to get your starting position. Unless you want to start for Kennesaw State and play for absolutely nothing worth a damn, you will literally never start ever So I don't understand the point. I legit grinded away at this mode, playing practice every week, doing the same option drill over and over again to get gold every single time, to earn more trust from my coach. And it didn't matter what I did, I was never going to start. After my freshman year, I legit flunked out of school. Like I put some time in freshman year for school, but after that, I said, screw it, I'm just getting my attributes up and that will help me start and blah, blah, blah. And in 3 seasons of playing every single practice and doing all that and flunking out of school, I legit went from a 62 overall freshman to a 69 going into my senior year. And that was with me dedicating all that time to just leveling up and stuff and no schooling. And like I said, not a lot of negatives here. I'm more on the positive side of this mode. So just one more little quick negative and then we'll go over to the positive. The fact that you only have 5 positions to choose from here is a fail for me. Older games let you pick anything but a kicker or an O-line, so why not have everything here? And it's 2024, why can't we do something innovative and actually let you play as an O-lineman or a kicker as well? They even added the new kicking meter to the gameplay, which in my opinion would make the kicking career a lot more fun and intense. Don't want to be a kicker, don't want to be an O-lineman or half the other positions that are out there, and don't pick a 2-star recruit. And other than that, this game is going to be mostly positive. So yeah, go pick a 4 or 5-star recruit, and you actually don't get to pick whatever school you want and start instantly like you think. And while there is no high school, I do think the little mini interview thing to determine which schools you actually do get to pick from is decent. They ask you a few questions about the type of stuff that you care about, like do you want to win a championship, do you want to start right away, whatever it is, and it shapes your opinion towards what schools you want to go to. So then you pick your school here, and we briefly touched on it, but overall, when you're actually a good player and not grinding away trying to get your overall up 1 or 2 a year, I actually do think the weekly agenda here is a solid feature to give you something to do, and it makes you feel like you're actually a student in college because this isn't the NFL. You actually got to go to school and balance your life. They give you these energy points for each week, and you have to choose how to spend them wisely. Focus on your education because some schools actually do require different GPAs depending on how smart of a school you went to. Like some are more education based and some are more football based. Or do you want to go be a good leader for your team? Do you want to earn XP to level up your overall? Or do you want to heal up after a game or training for that XP? Choice is always a plus for me, and here you're given a decent bit of choice for a football game. And other than that though, you go to practice to earn the coach trust that I talked about earlier, to fend off your backups or to take your starting job to the next level. I like that they have these short little mini games here like the older Maddens in the 2000s had. Although they do get old after a little bit of playing through the years, but overall I'm just happy they are here. And I couldn't believe this, but my favorite thing that actually got me hooked on this mode is the gameplay itself. I still can't even put my finger on what exactly specifically makes me enjoy it so much, but I had a good bit of fun here. And I'm not even a career mode type of person when it comes to sports games. I'm more into the dynasty modes, franchise, whatever. I do like to play them on the side, but they're never my favorite. And I can't believe this is probably my favorite mode in this game. One thing I know I definitely like for sure about it was that super zoomed in camera that you get, which of course is optional, but it really immersed me well. If you launch it down the field, you can barely see your guy go up to catch it. And if he does catch it in the air, you don't know if he completed the catch because the camera's back by your quarterback, just like real life quarterbacks don't know sometimes. I'd find myself waiting for the home crowd or my teammates to react before I would celebrate a play because I wasn't sure if it was complete. Also, while scrambling/running, this camera for me is just incredible for reading defenders' movements and stuff while you're running. It let me bob and weave my way in and out of so many situations. I loved it. I know a camera is something really simple to drool over here, but it was seriously just great. I also enjoy not having a lot of control of the play calling for specifically this game, not the other older football games. For me, it works here more because the playbooks are a lot more diverse. And finally, your teammates aren't complete idiots whenever you give them the ball. I was on South Carolina. We would actually run the ball 30 to 40 times a game, and I actually had almost zero issue with it because my running backs were actually like fun to watch, and they would actually act like real running backs instead of the idiots in the older games. See, I'm able to toot the horn for the new games over the old games as I'm capable of it. I give credit where it is due, no matter what. Like I said, I keep it real. If the new game does something better than the old game, I'm going to say it. And if this new game sucks like most of it does, I'm going to say it. And yeah, running the ball 30, 40 times a game was nice because when my coach finally called upon me, it made me feel like I got to step up here and make my throw and make the most of my opportunities because they were small. It was just nice to enjoy some gameplay here. And in one of those modes that I just was expecting to be disappointing as well, and it wasn't. Not sure if it was because of the offensive focused gameplay or whatever. Maybe I wouldn't enjoy the defender side of it for Road to the Glory, but here I would recommend you give Road to the Glory a shot. And remember, stay away from being a 2-star recruit. Okay, guys, this is probably the longest video I've ever made, but I can't help it that I love football so much, and I just want a simulation football game to actually exist ever again and simulate the actual game of football that I enjoy watching so much. People need to seriously start standing on their own 2 feet against these lazy, greedy companies that don't give a damn about your wallet. Show them that the product you pay for is not up to par. It's okay to criticize things. It's okay to want an actual football game to be good once a decade. It is sad that that's seriously the standards that we're at here. Like, I seriously would accept one great football game a decade. I'm begging for them to drop one great football game ever again at this point. It's clear at this point, as long as EA is running the show, football will never hit an amazing title ever again. You can get decent stuff here like this game, but it's never going to take that next level step ever again. This game looked promising, but ultimately falls flat as far as the expectations go, and I didn't want to make a negative centered review once again, but it had to be what it had to be. Really thought EA was going to give us something that would blow our minds and make these real football people change their opinions towards their company and towards these football games, but they struck out. So with all that being said, what is my final rating for College Football 25? Not going to lie, guys, I keep it real on this channel originally, and I was actually floating towards a 6 out of 10, but literally, as I wrote my notes here and I went through them and recorded all this stuff based on my notes, I wasn't finding very many positives to give out that truly took this game to the next level. So I'm going to say overall my final rating is a disappointing average rating of a 5 out of 10. And I know most people aren't going to like that and they're going to give me crap for this, but it is what it is. They had over a decade, and I know the game wasn't in development for a decade, but they had a decade to sit there and think of things to add or be creative with and be innovative in its return, and they just didn't. The gameplay for me is slightly better than Madden with fluid movements, but it isn't saying much when Madden for me has 1 out of 10 gameplay. It's sad, and I give this gameplay like a 4 maybe. Like, I mean, that's way better than Madden, but it's not good. Presentation solid, but still misses the mark as far as expectations go. Dynasty mode for me is a very, very massively stripped down version of what it once was. What's left in Dynasty mode is still good, but other than that, the recruiting just ruins it for me completely. And while Road to the Glory is somewhat a shell of itself as well, in my opinion, it's average at best, still probably maybe slightly above average. It's just the mode that bumped my score from a 4 out of 5, if I'm being completely honest. I actually enjoyed it more than expected. So yeah, that's it. I'm officially never jumping on a hype train for an EA Sports game ever again. I fell off the Madden train a few years ago. I used to be obsessed and look at those hard whenever they would announce stuff for Madden and get a little bit of hope in me, but that's gone. I used to also be obsessed with Battlefield, but they've now killed that for me forever with 2042. I always want to say 2024, but that's this year. And I wanted to give them a fair chance with this, but yet another strike. And guess what? That's 3 strikes. You're out of here for good, EA. All right, though, I'm done flipping out about this game. I waved the white flag. I feel so drained from grinding through this game for the past week or so. As always, let me know in the comments your opinion. I can't wait to hear these ones. These are gonna be good. I'll gear up and get myself ready to get shit on by most of these comments if I had to guess. If you want to see a video of an actual good game, go check out my NCAA 14 video or my other retrospectives of older games that used to hit it. If you did enjoy this, feel free to drop a like on the video. It always helps me out a ton if you do so. And subscribe for more gaming reviews and retrospectives in the future. Have a great rest of your day. That's it for me. See ya.